Yeah, everybody, welcome back. Today we're going to do a Peter Parker, the Spectacular Spider-Man number 20, featuring Lightmaster. I was wanted to do another review from another comic. This one, Ghostly Tales, from Charleston Group Comics. I'm a sucker for these kind of comics, spooky tales and horror, etc. Although this is not really horror. So I read it as only, have 3 issues in one comic, but the story was not really that interesting, except for the last one. The last one is a really great one. What surprised me is that this comic, I assumed this is one was, from the 70s, but it wasn't. It was from 1980. Well, Spider-Man is from 1987, 78, I mean. So, and it's in way better condition. This is in crappy condition. So, well, there's that. So, yeah, I'm always a sucker for, well, sucker is maybe a big word, but I love classic villains. Although Lightmaster is not really a big villain, but they don't do much with him at all. And that's a shame. I mean, he has some cool powers and some cool backgrounds. And yeah, so I dig up this comic and it's, made a review. Why not? So what is this all about? This is Spider-Man still in his college years, and he is, not with Mary Jane, and he's just living in a rental apartment. So basically, it's about the enforcers who was terrorizing a group of school students because they were hired by a person that wanted to reveal Spider-Man, outing his secret identity or something, and then that went wrong, and they just got caught by the police, or maybe Spider-Man just rounded them up, and they are interrogated. But we see here Ox, who's one of the other members of the enforcers, just wants to break out. The police officers, push the button. There's some gas, and they are, knocked out. So Spider-Man was looking in. Maybe he wanted to, jump in and to help, but it wasn't necessary. So he's going away to his apartment, and then let me check here. So here, there was a okay. It happened that the apartment was leaking. So Miss, what's her name? Grumpet. Muggins. I'm not sure why I say Grumpet, but maybe she's grumpy all the time. I mean, this is just a stereotypic old woman, ragging and moaning and crying and being angry all the time. And so Spider-Man, Peter Parker says, your roof is not good anymore. It's leaking, and she said, well, it's gonna cost you because there's some shenanigans there, so I'm not gonna explain it, but it cost him his rent. So then it reveals that the person who was hiring the enforcers is, of course, Lightmaster. And Lightmaster wants to expose Spider-Man because he's a thorn in his eye or something. And then he made a mistake because he thinks that Spider-Man is an Empire State University student called Hector Ayala. Maybe that name rings a bell because Hector Ayala is basically a superhero himself, but he's not Spider-Man. Well, we're gonna reveal that a little bit later. But probably veterans of Spider-Man and 70s, 80s comics know who he is. I think Hector is a great character. Too bad. Okay, let's move on before I spoil everything. Skipping a few pages. So we have here Lightmaster in this way too silly costume. I love the mask though, is with the narrow eyes here. That's great. And then Spider-Man, he has a cold because of the water and the leaking from his apartment. Meets up with Flash and Hector and a girl, and Lightmaster comes in, captures Hector, and escapes with him. But he blasts Hector with a light ray, and then his amulet that Hector, has on his neck just breaks off. And there's something wrong. Well, not wrong, there's something going on with the amulet. So, skipping a few pages again. Spider-Man or Peter Parker wants to interfere, and he's getting blasted by the light rays of Lightmaster, but not before he throws a spider tracer onto Hector, so that he can, follow him. He changes into Spider-Man and uses his spider sense to trace him. And can he feel something with the amulet? He says, I this feeling. It's familiar. I know this amulet, but he couldn't really put his finger on it what it is. So basically, he is searching for Lightmaster, but Lightmaster is not very bright guy, because it seems that he has unstable molecules and he has to be in light the whole time, because if he's not going to do that, well, he's going to break apart. He not really dies, but he just fades away. But by revealing that, he is also, saying, if there is no light, there is no powers. So basically, we all know what's going to happen. So Lightmaster is in a building called Light Inc. Well, it's very subtle, as Spider-Man also says, and he sees Hector through the windows, and what Lightmaster is doing has some cameras, and then he uses his power to activate the cameras and gonna do a broadcast over, Manhattan, and wants to say to the viewers that, hey, I'm gonna reveal who Hector really is, and then he's done for. But then Hector is really sick because he needs his amulets. If his amulet is gone, he's getting weaker, he's getting sick, and Spider-Man just gives him his amulet back. Then it reveals that he is basically the White Tiger. And although I never knew Hector as a White Tiger for a very long time, because tragic story, the character died in the comics. I believe he was murdered or had an accident or something, and that's too bad. He is, I think, he's a great character. And speaking of representation, he's I believe a Latino or Mexican or Spanish. I'm not entirely sure, so sorry for that. But and I believe his niece or sister or relative took over the mantle and become also a White Tiger, but then the female one, who isn't very interesting in my opinion. This is a basic. His costume is very basic, just a white costume with white gloves, white boots, and the glowing necklace on his neck that gives him his powers or something. So Spider-Man is battling Lightmaster, and then he figured out, well, I need to get him out of the building because it's become night, and then if he's outside, then he's in my element, and then I can beat him. But then, what does Spider-Man do? He made a mistake also. He skipping a few pages. So Spider-Man is trying to lure him out, and then it seems that he has trapped himself in the light bulb, and Lightmaster thinks, okay, now I got you. So he uses his power to put more energy in whatever that is, and then the light bulb, is getting more warmer and get more energy, and probably Spider-Man is not getting out. He's gonna get fried. But then he uses his powers too much. There is an overload, a blackout. So every machinery that powers him, stops, and then basically he's defeating himself, and that's the book. So yeah, and Hector, he kicks Lightmaster's ass at the end, and basically that's the end of the book. Lightmaster, as Spider-Man says, he's fading even now, and there's nothing we can do to help him. Lightmaster destroyed himself. Well, and that's also the end of the book. Oh, cool advertising, by the way. Yeah, cool book, cool characters. I love Lightmaster, and I also like Hector. White Tiger. Like I said, it's too bad there's no reappearance of these characters anymore. I wonder what's happened to Lightmaster in the end. I haven't seen him in more than 10, 15 years, I believe. Could be wrong. But yeah. Hey, this is it. I have nothing more to say. Thanks for watching. yeah, I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.